Let's do a race car. Assuming I can drop it into the water. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the wheels fell off. Sound like my kind of car. Lovely. Hey guys, this is TGStudios in Roblox Studio. You know, I've been making water just recently, like making it dynamic and sort of things. Well, you could not touch that water and make it react to your touch. That's basically what I've done here. So we've got a water block here. It's many little tiny little blocks in a grid sort of pattern, and I've programmed it so it reacts as if you drop something in water when you touch it, kind of like this. There we go. So it's rather laggy if I have any more than what I've got. I've got about 50 by 50 blocks, and at the moment when you stand inside, in real water you get sort of a bounce off the wave off of you or the thing inside the water, and it sort of reverberates around. At the moment I don't know exactly how to do that, so it just goes straight through you until you move, of course. This is not exactly my algorithm that I've done. It's something that I found on it's actually 2D wave that you find on any old game or something, and I've just converted it into 3D. So it's basically just using two arrays or tables, if you like. Ignore that one, that's just me referencing the parts and things. So I've got a previous and current array, where I believe the way this algorithm's working is it looks at the previous state of the water and then adds it to the current, and then times it by the dampening, which could be a point, decimal point sort of thing, like 0.9 or something, to get the dampening of the water. So if I do something like this, dampening of 1.5, and restart the game, the water should be really gel-like. In other words, we won't get any waves or very little waves when we actually get into the water. Yeah, there we go. So if I increase that, it will it'll be more like water, basically. So the way I've actually programmed this is we can have spacing in the actual water itself if you wanted to, and of course you can change the size of the blocks. So if I run this, you don't have to be in game to run it. You can actually run it in simulation mode. There we go. So if I create a part and then drop it on the water, there we go. So my next task now is to work out how to make it bounce off the objects falling inside in the water. Look at that. And of course make things actually float in the water. So let's actually change that size. Put that back to 0. Let's go 3 by 3. And 1. Now when it loads. Right, so we've got a bigger bit of water. Yeah, there we go. So let's drop something into it, and you get that nice ripple effect. It's, yeah, as I say, it's off a 2D game water, if you like. If you ever see a game with water, I bet you this algorithm's in there. All I've done is just converted it into 3D from that 2D thing. All I'm doing here is I'm creating the blocks, but I'm not changing the size or position of the block. What is actually inside these blocks is a mesh, which is what I'm resizing. If I zoom over to this one. So it's basically just a block with a mesh with the size changing, as you can see, and I'm also offsetting it so it looks like it's actual water rather than anything else. Oop. Look at that. Now does that look like water or does that not? I know it looks like a load of blocks as well, so whatever. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you what I've been working on. I'll probably end up doing an update on this video on if I add any more to it, sort of thing. The way I'm sort of getting the touched part of it is I'm using just the part touched event and recording the X and Y of where that part is and making sure that it's anchored, or if the part gets removed from the workspace. If it's removed, then it just ignores that part. If it's anchored like the base plate, then it also ignores it. I may change that later with the anchored part, so then you can have like a pole in the middle of the water and it sort of bounces off the pole or something. So all I'm doing is getting the velocity magnitude of that part that's hitting the water and then setting it to the current table as I was talking about earlier, and then the algorithm sort of works out all the parts around that point to do the wave effect, basically. Kind of like, let's restart it. Let's actually load up a car or something. Probably end up breaking it. So you can see that it's not actually programmed in to do that sort of thing. Vehicles. Let's do a race car. Assuming I can drop it into the water. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the wheels fell off. Sound like my kind of car. Lovely. So yeah, I'm just getting the velocity of the object to get the max speed of the wave, that sort of thing, and that's all I'm doing, just getting the magnitude of the velocity and put it to the current table for the water. So it goes as follows. This is basically just making sure that x minus 1 in the array is not, if it equals nothing, then it returns 0. Otherwise, if it is there basically in the array, it returns whatever value that is. So let's just say that value has got a value of 5, or x minus 1 is 5, so this would be probably 4 or something, or may even be 6, it depends on which way the wave is going. Then we look at the positive side of that. If that is there, then it returns whatever the value that is, or it returns 0. Then it adds another one for the, if you like, the z axis. So it looks at minus and positive of that, and then takes all of that together, adds them all together, and divide it by 2 minus the actual current value of what we're setting. Then after that we add the dampening, or should I say times it by the dampening, which is how we get the sort of fade. So a bit like real water, if you like. Then what I'm doing here is making sure that the wave does not go above the simulation height or below the simulation height, so it doesn't go through the floors or disappear into space. Then I'm making sure that my value of mesh, which is the mesh inside the part, is there. If it is, then it sets the scale to the sim height plus the current cell, if you like, that it's printing or talking to, if you like. Then we set the offset to the current value divided by 2 to get the appearance of the mesh just staying together and just the size sort of moving. This next part is what I was trying to do with the actual part size, but I found out it's very sort of laggy if you change the size of many parts. So I resorted to a mesh and do it that way. Then at this last bit we make a copy of the previous table or array, if you like. Then we set that to the current table. Then we sort of swap it around for the current to the previous, sort of swap them both to get around, and that's where the magic happens. It's a little bit hard to work out, hard to explain. It just works basically. So in other words, all we're doing here is previous equals current and current equals previous, rather than the other way around. And of course this setup is just basically just printing the actual water itself. So just positioning it and working out the spacing, etc, etc. So yeah, that's what I've basically been doing. That only took me about 20 minutes or so. Then a further 30 minutes to work out how it's working and to convert it into the 3D. I mean, look at that. Cool. So now I've just had to work out how to make the water bounce off the objects in the water. That's a bit harder. I don't know exactly how to approach that yet. So that's probably be the follow-up video of this, and probably making it a bit more water-like rather than just blue. Anyway, this has been TGStudios Roblox Studio on my, I guess, as it says there, homemade wave water. And I'll catch you guys later. TGStudios signing out. And I'm drowning. See you later, guys.